This episode of After the Quiet contains personal experiences and discussions related to emotional abuse, coercive control, isolation, family dynamics, and relationship trauma. Some content may be distressing or triggering for listeners. Hi everyone, and welcome back to After the Quiet. This is episode 75. Today's episode is about a family reunion. And looking back now, it was another example of how someone can physically be present, but emotionally absent. My family had planned a big reunion in Mont Tremblant over New Year's. Family was coming from different places. People we hadn't seen in years were planning to attend. The cousins would all be together. The kids would have the chance to play with relatives they rarely got to see. I was excited. Really excited. Family has always been important to me. And after losing my grandma, aunt, and dad, spending time with the people I still had felt even more important. The best part was that my mom wanted everyone there so badly that she offered to pay. She wanted her children and grandchildren together. She wanted memories, photos, stories, laughter. She offered to cover the trip for our family. Most people would have been thrilled. He wasn't. Almost immediately, he started talking about how he'd rather go somewhere warm. He wanted to go south. He didn't understand why we would spend money to go sit in the snow. He didn't understand why I was so excited about seeing my family. At least, that's what it felt like. The discussions went on for weeks, back and forth. Every time I thought we were going, he would find a reason not to. And every time I imagined telling my family we weren't coming, I felt disappointed. Eventually, he changed his mind. To this day, I don't know why. Maybe he got tired of arguing. Maybe he realized how much it meant to me. Maybe he didn't want to look like the bad guy. Whatever the reason, he finally agreed to go. But there was a condition. He refused to stay with my family. The original plan had been for everyone to share accommodations. Lots of people under one roof, the way family reunions often work. But he wouldn't do it. So instead, we booked our own cabin. Looking back, I realized this happened a lot. There was always some reason to separate us from other people. Some reason to create distance. Some reason to avoid spending too much time with my family. At the time, I accepted it. I was just so happy we were going. I told myself it would actually be nice to have our own space. And in some ways, it was. The kids were excited. The scenery was beautiful. The village looked like something from a Christmas movie. Snow everywhere, twinkling lights, families bundled up in winter clothes. It was exactly what I had hoped for. One day, everyone decided to go tobogganing. The kids couldn't wait. There were cousins everywhere. Snow pants, sleds, snowballs flying through the air. The adults joined in too. Some were racing down hills. Others were helping younger children climb back up. Everyone was laughing. It was one of those moments where you look around and think, this is what family is supposed to feel like. The kind of memory you hope your children remember someday. And while all of that was happening outside, he stayed inside the cabin all day. Not because he was sick, not because he was injured. He simply chose not to join us. At first, I kept expecting him to come outside. Maybe he was just finishing a coffee. Maybe he was getting dressed. Maybe he would join us later. But he never did. Hour after hour, he remained inside. Meanwhile, I was outside with the kids, playing, laughing, taking photos, making memories. And I remember feeling embarrassed. Not because of anything I had done, but because people noticed. Family members would casually ask, "Where is he?" And I'd make excuses. "He's relaxing. He's tired. He'll probably come out later." The kinds of explanations I had become very good at giving. The truth was that I didn't really understand it either. We had traveled all that way. The kids were having the time of their lives. My family was all together, and he wanted no part of it. Looking back now, I think family gatherings were difficult for him. Not because anyone was mean, not because anyone excluded him. My family welcomed him. They always had. They had known him since he was a teenager. They treated him like one of their own. But family gatherings meant I wasn't isolated. They meant I had people around me. People who loved me. People who knew me before him. People who could see me. And maybe that made him uncomfortable. I don't know. What I do know is that when I look back to that reunion, I don't remember him sitting inside the cabin. I remember the kids. I remember the snow, the laughter, the sledding, the cousins. I remember my mom smiling because her family was together. And I remember realizing something. The happiest moments of that trip happened when I stopped worrying about where he was. When I stopped trying to make him participate. When I stopped trying to convince him to join us. Because sometimes the people who don't want to be part of the joy will find reasons to stay away from it. And no amount of convincing can change that. What I wish I had understood back then was this. I didn't need his permission to enjoy my family. I didn't need his participation for my children to have wonderful memories. And I didn't need to spend so much energy making excuses for someone who had chosen not to show up. Thanks for listening to After the Quiet. Please remember to subscribe to this podcast and share it with others who might need to hear my story. And also join me on Instagram at after.the.quiet. If you recognize parts of my story in your own, please reach out to someone who can give you support, or look for that support in your community. You are not weak for needing help. You are human. Your voice deserves to be heard.